Hey, what's up, guys? It's Baronexus42 here today, and today I'm going to be bringing you a non-My Little Pony related video and an Alvin and the Chipmunks instead. I just got back from seeing Alvin and the Chipmunks the road trip, and I am officially mind blown. I thought this one was better than 1, 2, and 3. I'm speechless. How well it was portrayed. Excellent acting, excellent plot, excellent music. Okay, so let's go over the whole entire franchise on my opinions. Okay, first was cute and a good way to start off the franchise. Second, good but not the best. Third, terrible. I didn't care for the third movie at all because it just had terrible humor in it and was not good at all. Alvin and the Chipmunks the road trip. My mind is so freaking blown right now that I cannot hold it in. I am so mind blown. And for those who have not seen the movie, there are spoilers ahead. This is a full review. So, if you have not seen the movie and you do not want spoilers, please leave the video now. Alright, so as you can see, I'm on the IMDb page right now. This rating is selfish compared to what it really deserves. This deserves a 6 or 7 out of 10 easily, because Alvin and the Chipmunks The Road Trip, best movie in my opinion of the whole entire franchise. Oh my goodness, I could not believe it. How well it was portrayed. Ross Bagdasarian, and I can't remember the person who did the screenplay, but it's the one who did Miss Doubtfire. You guys did an excellent job at this. Janice Carmen and all of those guys, they did an excellent job. I loved that. Loved this. And I'm not saying this just because I'm an Alvin and the Chipmunks fan. I watched this with my best face, my best opinion, and I have to say, best movie of the entire franchise. So the beginning. I loved how they started the movie. I loved it. It starts out different, more different than the Alvin and the other Alvin and the Chipmunk movies. Uh, we've got the Chipettes involved, and a lot of people were debating, are the Chipettes actually going to be in this? And they were, because we eventually found out about 2 months prior to its release that the Chipettes were actually going to be in it. Now, Kaylee Cuckoo Sweeting, her as Eleanor, she sounded really good. She sounded just like Amy Poehler. I mean, that was beautiful. And then we got Red Foo in there, and this party is for Dave, and it turns into a whole bunch of Alvin shenanigans. That I loved. And I love the part where Simon's on the skateboard saying, the skateboard event is now closed, and then he gets on the skateboard and actually tries it, and he's like, oh, let's go again. Okay, that was hilarious. I loved it. Uh, of course, we got the regular Dave coming home, mischievous stuff going on, and the Alvin, as usual. Um, from the beginning, okay, so I knew much about, the movie's main plot. Miles starts out as a humongous jerk, and it's it reminded me a lot of the one of the episodes that this is based off of. It's based off of Dave gets married and Dave Lovesick Dave, I think. Dave getting married, something like that. It reminded me a lot of that episode, and I saw it, and it had a lot of that theme to it. Uh, the Chipmunks meet a kid who is nothing but a jerk, and uh, they look at him as a bad guy. But eventually, they get into meeting each other, have a lot in common, and become friends rather than enemies. So, Miles was an interesting character at first. I wanted to slap him in the face because he kept, picking on Theodore. sold him, and that really bugged me. And there's just a lot about Miles that I did not like at first. But once again, I just kind of gave it a chance and let it go. Okay, so we get the chipmunks and all of them misunderstanding everything about the proposal just because they see a ring box. At first, I really thought that that was going to happen. And this is a lot about Dave getting married. In the episode, what happens is Dave gets a girlfriend, and the boys meet up with the kids of the mother. They like the mother, but they hate the kids because they're nothing but a bunch of snot-nosed little brats who could care less about them. So that's basically what's going on here. They meet Miles. He could care less about them. They could care less about Miles. That that really threw me for a loop. So Miles turns out to be the bad guy. Okay, so that was really good. Then we've got Dave with the. Why would he take the chipmunks off of their passion, which is singing and performing? I really don't understand that part, but I don't know, because of a new house, new car. I like the new environment. Let's see. I'm trying to remember every little aspect that I have to choose here. So the chipmunks aren't famous anymore. The Chipettes are more famous. They're judges on American Idol, and that's kind of funny. I found that really funny because the Chipettes were supposedly not going to be in it, but they were all along. And if you're a true Alvin and the Chipmunks fan, you'll know that Chipettes are going to be in it. All right, so they've moved out. They've gone on to bigger and better stuff. Um, Now there's one thing that bugs me, and it's Theodore's character. Theodore was a little out of character because he was, dancing a little bit, and he wasn't being Theodore. He was just a little bit out of character. Other than that, it was really good. Um, so we got the Chipmunks and Miles teaming up to stop the proposal because they don't like each other at first and want to prevent becoming brothers. Okay, so and Miles doesn't really understand it until the Chipmunks, who are locked outside the house, actually tell him, oh, your mom's gonna get proposed to our dad, and so they set out the the road trip. And I this part at the airport made me freaking laugh. The part where Simon gets so nervous that he pees himself, that made me freaking laugh. Oh my gosh. The humor is finally back. The Alvin and the Chipmunks humor that we needed. That stuff that we just needed back in the freaking movie. I loved it. It it reminded me a lot of the first movie, like when Theodore is so nervous that he poops on the couch. And Simon does too. So he poops and he pees at the same time. Oh, that's funny. I mean, I found the humor, I loved it, and then get on the plane, and I was wondering why the air marshal would, what kind of interest he would want, and why he would want to go after the chipmunks. I thought at first it was just for sabotaging the flight, but no, we find out the reason why is because he had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend didn't saw that he was a fan of the chipmunks, and she found it immature, so he lost a loved one because of them. Kind of a little bit of a childish motive, I guess, but I don't know. And Tony Hale was really good to choose for this character too. Uh, the part where Theodore's releasing all the animals in the cargo, and let's see, we've got Alvin talking to Agent Suggs. He he's and then he tells him to freeze, and I love that Simon says, "Can we unfreeze now? This is a very awkward position to hold." That made me laugh. And then they have to make an emergency landing, end up on the no-fly list, like a terrorist, kind of like a terrorist thing. That made me. And then the road trip begins. We end up in Texas in a bar. And the music. Love the music that we needed. It's back again. We needed the music back. The stuff that makes Alvin and the Chipmunks Alvin and the Chipmunks. I loved every aspect of the music. I mean, Miles is a musician, so that really helps. That's how they were able to get to Miami in the first place. Well, part of the reason why they got to Miami was because, well, we'll get to that later. Uh, okay, so we go to a bar, get out before Mr. Buttface can actually, well, Agent Suggs can actually, do anything to him. I love the part with Agent Suggs and Alvin doing karate. That reminded me a lot of it's Alvin. Alvin is very mischievous, and the part where he just gets the pins in the face or toothpicks or whatever they were. I think they were toothpicks. Toothpicks gets into Suggs' face, and he's just getting his butt whooped by Alvin. So, and I think they managed to make some money, get out into the middle of nowhere, and the chipmunks have to sleep in a tree. Like what they haven't slept in for, I don't know how long it's actually been since they went to the island and all that stuff, but it takes place after that, so I don't know. I'm really glad Zoe did not return in this because I didn't like her. Nothing wrong with Jenny Slate, just Zoe. I didn't care for Zoe. She was a character that could have been left out from Chipwrecked, and it would have been better. That's what I loved about this. New villain, new music, the real music that we needed from the freaking Chipmunks all along. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they get on the road, start bonding with Miles. I almost said Alex. Don't know why. They get bonding with Miles, understand some parts of him that, make sense. They start bonding, and that's really good because they now they have something kind of in common. They have no dad. Both of them technically don't have a real dad, which this will come in handy at the end of the movie. All right, so they get to New Orleans where there's Mardi Gras going on, and Uptown Funk. Loved that part. And finally, the Chipmunks are getting the publicity that they need. Finally. And the fact that it's kind of like a hangover reference. Uh, Agent Suggs wakes up the next morning with two tattoos, one on his chest, one on his back. That made me laugh too. I loved it. It was funnier than heck. And let's see. Just trying to think of the order here. They eventually get caught because they're seen on TV. Uh, Theodore's character texting or tweeting things. I don't know. That's just out of Theodore's character. So Theodore was a little bit out of character, but I think Ross wanted to mix that up a little bit to add more, oomph to the story, and I really like that they did that. Okay, so then they get to Miami finally with Dave, and they're grounded. But like or Alvin said, when aren't we grounded? That's perfect. So they still have to stop the proposal, and this part really brought me to tears. Miles gets the assumption that they want to be brothers, but when Alvin gets the ring and stops Dave from possibly proposing, he gets the assumption, oh, the Chipmunks don't want me, so I'm just gonna walk out into Miami. Okay, so nearly gets hit by a car. They pull that thing with Theodore, and that really, really brought me to tears. I loved that they were acting brotherly, like real brothers, and I loved it. And even though I knew Theodore was gonna be fine, he saved his life, and I just loved it. Oh, another thing I want to bring up at the part where they do the slingshot thing again. That was funny. He hit him right in the nards. Oh my gosh. There was just so much better humor in this. Oh my gosh. And to get to the party finally, turns out it's a whole misunderstanding, which I knew that was the whole thing from the beginning. At some points, it had me kind of questioning whether it was the real deal or not. So I had a feeling they were not going to tie the knot, but another part of me was saying they are going to tie the knot. And Alvin immediately just spills the beans. And it's and the Chipmunks think that Dave's gonna dump him because they've disobeyed him one too many times once again. Get the Chipettes involved for one final thing, and they even fixed the proposal that was actually going on. It was one of Dave's uh, record people. I don't know. Uh, but I had the assumption of who Ashley was and what her role was. Even originally, she was thought to be the girlfriend, but no, it's Kimberly Williams Paisley's character, Samantha. I can think. And then you got that last musical number that really tugs the heartstrings. Then Dave finally legally gets them to be as his sons, so he adopts them again, and they're actually under the Seville name now, legally. And then finally they got home. There's the real chip or squirrels making a mess in the house, and of course we gotta have Dave saying that final Alvin as the end of the movie because that's how they've all ended. I loved it. I saw that and I was mind blown. I loved every aspect of this movie. Beautiful. The way that they trap the villain at the end, Agent Sucks. Is he afraid of elevators? That's the only part I didn't understand. Or they're still on the no-fly list, I guess, or maybe Dave can get him off. I don't know. I thought that the villain was gonna, be reformed or something. But where's the fun in that? But easy for me. This is at least an 8 out of 10 film here, not a 3.9. That's pathetic. The These critics really need to stop being so biased. These movies are awesome, and they're for kids, for Pete's sake. Have a kid go see it and have them give the verdict. I mean, seriously. This was a wonderful film. Beautiful music, beautiful acting, except Theodore. Theodore was a little out, and I caught some Theodore action at the end. Oh man, and she landed Amy Poehler's giggle really well. I was really surprised about that. She sounded very much like Amy Poehler. I was really afraid that was going to be a lot of criticism, but everything about this movie, perfect, perfect. This is exactly how the movie needed to be. And Ross Bagdasarian, Janice Carmen, Walt Becker, all those guys did it again. They have officially blown my mind. I really saw this film having potential, and they did it. They finally blew my mind. This is the best of all the four films. I loved it. Every aspect of this film was perfect. The character development, especially. This is an easy 8 out of 10 for me. The only reason I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 is because of Theodore's character. He was way out of character at the beginning and throughout the entire movie. He was more smug than anything. He was kind of acting more like Alvin a little bit. Simon was out of character, but they did that to add humor. And the humor in this was beautiful. Everything about this movie was perfect. I like that they rated PG so they could step out of the kid zone for the movie. But this definitely beats one. This beats Alvin and Chipmunks 1, Alvin and Chipmunks the Squeakquel, and Chipwrecked by miles. And that's not a pun. This beats it by a, a billion football fields. Oh my god, I loved this film. Loved it. I would definitely watch it again, and you bet your butt I'm going to buy this movie when it comes out. I loved it. It was beautiful. Oh, beautiful film by Fox. I don't care what anybody says. This was beautiful. I loved everything about it. The music, the acting, everything, the plot. It was perfect. I I it was just a beautiful film. It caused me to tear up at the part where Miles was actually saved by Theodore. That really caused me to tear up. I loved it. I really, 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 really hope there's another movie so that we can just shut those freaking haters up and just screw them. Screw the critics. They're biased. They're biased assholes who don't know what a real good movie is. I mean, I watched this with my best interest and blew me away. Theodore was out of character. Simon was out of character a few times, but that's okay. They just did that to add the humor. And for that, I will give this an 8 out of 10 easily. I loved it. Everything about this was beautiful. Thank you, Ross Bagdasarian Jr., for continuing your father's legacy, and thank you so much for producing such a beautiful film, along with all of the other actors: Jason Lee, Justin Long, uh, Jesse McCartney, Matthew Gray Gubler, Christina Applegate, not Amy Poehler, Kaylee Cuckoo Sweeting, and if I'm saying her name right, and I gotta think, Anna Faris, and Josh Green, all of you guys that were in this movie, excellent job. I will say this had the best acting, best everything in it. Loved it. So, easy 8 out of 10 for me. And I'm sorry that. Oh my gosh. I'm so mind blown right now. This is the best movie so far. I hope there is another one because I really want to see more about this. And if it's the last one, they went out with a big bang because this is the best movie ever I've seen in the Alvin and the Chipmunks franchise. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That's my full review on Alvin and the Chipmunks: The Road Trip. They officially blew my mind. And more reactions will be coming soon. I don't know when. Hopefully, Daughter of Discord will be the next road trip. The next reaction that I do. And if it isn't, I'll bring you guys something else. So, thank you so much for watching, and Spare9642 out for now. I am so mind blown. I'm fanboying. Anyway, enough of me jabbering. Thank you for watching.